Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. This is a review of the 2019 PGA Championship. We did a preview last week, and I'm just going to go over basically how well we did, how the model looked with the results, and maybe talk a little bit about golf. You know what I liked about the tournament. So if you remember last week or in the preview, we talked a lot about the buckets that we were trying to find our basically our nucleus of players that we wanted to play. Uh, we used last year's results, and we wanted to find 2 to 5 golfers that finished 20th or better last year. We also wanted to find 1 to 4 golfers who missed the cut last year, and 1 to 3 players that missed the or who did not play last year. Now, of course, there were other results that you could have had. 20 to 40, 40 to 60. You found hits. So I'm not, we just kind of used an anchor position, a foundation, if you will. And that's how we create lineups. Or that's what I was trying to tell you guys how to create lineups. Looking at the lineups I did, you can tell I started out most of my lineups with 2 to 5. Uh, the dark green indicates a 1. So I kind of color code it where you can kind of pick up on the 1 through 6. And then that helps me create my lineups over here in columns. So typically my first 2 columns, I mean for this tournament, because these were 1s, I wanted to slot the 1s there, and that's where you see all the dark green. And then the light green, which is a 2, and then a yellow, which is a 3. So as you can tell, I followed my process. I ended up making $60 off of a $35 entry. Well, all of the entry fees combined. So a $35 investment, I made $60. Could have easily made much more. If it wasn't for Luke List bogeying the last hole, I would have 10x'd my investment pretty easily. That bogey cost 6.5 points, which dropped me below, I think, 4 points from a lot of the people at first place. And if, say, Dustin were to win, I would have done well. In fact, here's my lineup. So I entered this lineup in, I think, 23, in 24 contests. And unfortunately, Jon Rahm didn't hit for me. Oh, I'm sorry. It was this. It was 23 lineups. So it was this one. I just used the one above it because I think a buddy of mine used that lineup and I thought it was a good one, so I went with it. Actually, I altered it just a little bit. So, anyways, hey, Dustin would have won. Would have been great. Unfortunate about Jon Rahm. I think when I look at salary, when I compare, I should have put Jordan Spieth there, and I probably would have won a lot of money that way. But I had Luke List, Abraham Ancer did okay, Adam Scott was doing well for a long time, and Woodland did really well as well. I think he top 20, I believe. I think he got. Yeah, I'll look. We'll look. But anyways, this was the process, and so again, I did my 2 1s, a 2, a 3, and then I just mixed it up because really there wasn't anything telling that I needed to have someone in bucket 4 or 5 or 6. I just, you know, because the ones where you wanted 2 to 5 of them throughout all my lineups, I try to put 2 to 5. Just I try to randomize it though, and by doing the cascade effect that I showed in the preview. So that's how you'll see some of these have 4 green, so 4 1s. I didn't do 5 1s, I don't think. No, I didn't do 5 1s at all. But that also got me on a couple greens or light greens. So obviously we wanted 1 to 4, I think, and then for yellows you wanted 1 to 3. And I don't think I did more than 2, but when we go and look at the results on the DK page, I update this. We can see top 10, or let's just do top 5. Top 5 we had 3 1s right off the get-go. It would have been pretty decent to pair Brooks with Jordan. I think the optimal lineup actually was Brooks, Jordan, Cantlay, Wallace, List, and Kang. And guess what? If you would have had Kang and List, let's see, is that right? Yeah, Kang. Well, Kang and List. So List was a 2, Kang was a 3. Obviously, you see that on the spreadsheet. Uh, so including them also saved you some money with salary, and I believe. Let's see, we want that. This got you 47,900. I don't think I can scroll over where you guys could see it. Um, yeah, I'm just take my word for it. It's $47,900 for that salary, or for the lineup that I just told you. And guess what? You would have had 3 1s, you had a 2, and you would have had a 3. Essentially, what I told you, like bucket wise, basic. I give you a range, obviously, and you wanted to find players within that. Even if you found 2 3s, you could have played Sung Kang and Eric Van Ruyen. That wouldn't have hurt you. Ruyen got 8th. He would have got you some decent points. I think he ended up scoring 70 points, I believe. I recorded the, so I also put like the winning lineup right here. So yeah, 70 points for Ruyen. Uh, this was a week that you wanted placement points, much like I had said in the preview. But I also like just going off of placement points anyways. But I mean, look at the slew of other buckets that we could have had. So Ruyen was another 3 you could have played instead of Sun King, or you could have paired them together. I don't know who would have paired them together, but at least you would have saw that bucket. It wasn't a very good bucket. Louis Oosthuizen was the top guy, and then there was a bunch under there that I guarantee you probably wouldn't have liked playing. But then we also have these guys down here that finished top 20. So you found a lot of guys there. Same with 2. You could have Kuchar or List. Unfortunately, those were honestly the only 2 that you would have wanted to play. And Luke List didn't really have that great of post splits other than the 2019 post split. So it would have just been a shot in the dark, basically. I liked List. A lot of people like List, obviously, but I did like him here. And it wasn't that I didn't like Kuchar, it's just with Kuchar's price point, it was difficult to put him with anyone else. So, I think during the preview I went over POA splits. And really, like, this pretty decent. You didn't have anyone that were in the red up here. This is probably Rory was probably one of the best. Oh, DJ was the best. But let's see, overall POA splits. I mean, other than Jorge Campillo, I don't think you would have played him anyways. Ty Hatton was doing okay for a while. You had Adam Scott and DJ, obviously. Like, you could have went by overall POA and you would have had a good result. You may not have gone on first place, but honestly, I really liked Brooks to begin with, and hopefully you guys did too. Yeah, that actually was pretty good. If we go by top 10, you wouldn't have done pretty bad trying to fit some of these guys in. And I'm kind of kicking myself because I wish I would have. I typically don't do I don't go strictly by top 10, but look at all the ones that were in there. So I mean, it's something to look at, guys. Honestly, I'm not blowing smoke when I look at this. All but one tournament from last year, I think from the U.S. Open on, didn't pay me dividends with using this process. I think one of them really just was off the rails, completely. It was just different. So one of the other things coming into this tournament that I wasn't positive on was that this was a PGA Championship being played in May. I wasn't positive as to what the last week, or the last week result was going to do. But if you remember, as if you recall, I had said there was only 1-1-1. And if we look at all the, well, I mean, here you go. We can sort this. Only 1-1, and that was Brooks. I told you you'd get top 5, and sure as hell, he got top 5. He won the damn thing. And good for Brooks. I'm sick of people criticizing Brooks. He is the best player we have in the game today, hands down. His demeanor, all the people that hate that he's cocky, kindly go fuck yourself. Like, He's not cocky, he's confident. And anyone that doesn't think that that isn't confidence probably has an insecurity issue. Hot take. Um, Again, that's my opinion, so take it for what it is. Jordan Spieth was another player I told you to play. I mean, I guess I didn't tell you to play him. I suggested you should play him because he fit in the mold. And this is how you get on players like Jordan Spieth, is by going out of the norm. Instead of saying, hey, at most PGA championships or even at most tournaments at Bethpage Black, we need tee to green stats. We need approach stats. We need putting stats. Those are metrics based around a golf swing. Golf swings change all the time. There is a variance, a variable, that is very difficult to identify. And I do think last week's results matter, and I think the year before's results matter, especially if you're playing a golf course over and over and over again at an event. Obviously, with PGA Championship, you're not, but it is a major championship, and it's a different feel. PGA Championships have different feels from the other majors, and each PGA Championship is very similar to the last. I mean, in a way, you're playing very similar golf courses. Um, so it kind of proved that it mattered. I mean, if we look at all of the golfers that finished as a 1, I mean, we have a miscut here and then a bunch of miscuts here. Pretty darn good stats, though, comparatively. So we go there. If you go to the 2s, like look how many 2s missed the cut compared to how many 2s did well. How many 2s placed inside the top 10 compared to how many 1s placed inside the top 10. 3s actually had a pretty good showing for top 20, but no one inside the top 5. And then I suppose I should have sorted it differently. And we had a couple 4s that were inside the top 10, top 5 even. But yeah, like look at our 6s. It goes to prove you didn't want to play any 5. And 6s didn't really give you. Rory backdoored the top 10. Now he's a good enough player to do that. Brandt Snedeker was probably more of a surprise for a backdoor top 20. But yeah, I mean, look at that. That result's not good. So the ones really that mattered. And I mean, we had Chez Reavie. So for those that have criticized this, you could go, well, look, yeah, Brooks Koepka up there, Adam Scott, Gary Woodland, Jordan Spieth. Those are all players we could see top 20, placing inside the top 20 or placing inside the top 10. But how do you explain someone like Thomas Pieters didn't finish, but Matt Wallace or even Shane Lowry? Like I didn't even think about using Shane Lowry. Looking at his stats, well, they're not bad. Because he plays Euro, I don't have any of the PGA stats, but that's not bad. If you went by POA and in the bucket, pretty darn good. So it's kind of furthering trying to prove that the bucket system is a pretty decent system. So hopefully in the preview for next week, if you guys come back and watch the preview show for the Charles Schwab Challenge, which I should hopefully have up next week, you'll see. You'll see that it works out pretty decent. Hopefully we have a good preview show that can, find those golfers, those hidden gems, and then it further prove my point that the bucket system matters. One other side note, I just wanted to talk about POA grass and how grass surfaces matter when it comes to greens, or well, to a result for golfers. So I like looking at grass surface, and I didn't talk about this in the previous show, but POA is a grass that's really difficult to putt on because it grows at different rates. Like if you think about the morning when you cut the grass completely flat, throughout the day, POA is very similar to a weed. It will grow differently at different spots. So you'll have longer grass on a green, or you will have longer grass on certain spots of a green than the rest of it. Sometimes that's between the ball and the hole. And really the only putters that are good are those that hit the ball firm. And I wish I would have said that in the preview show because maybe you would have been on players that are confident putters. Those that like to leg putts up. You know what? I'll get more into it in a different video, but just know that grass surface matters. And POA is really difficult to putt on, so it does take some expertise. And that's why you see, the POA splits pretty decent. So I'll leave it at that. I'll get into it in another video. The U.S. Open will be played on POA, so we'll definitely talk about it. I don't know what the Charles Schwab challenge off the top of my head is. Again, I'm not going to get into it. What I am going to do is I think I'll conclude this video. All I wanted to show was the process, and from top to bottom, it kind of played out well this week. And hopefully you guys followed. A buddy of mine doubled his money, which was awesome. He's not a very high risk player, but he doubled his money because he kind of followed this process. He had Brooks and Dustin in a lot of his lineups, which was awesome. But for me, I basically doubled my money as well. So it was nice. It was a good result with the whole process, and hopefully we keep finding more success. So with that, I'm gonna end the video, give you back your time. Hopefully I see you in the preview show, which I should have up tomorrow. But yeah, have a good day. Thank you.